Hey, Scott, that's sort of how I feel now. I got a new phone yesterday and I'm trying to use the new phone and I'm still on the old phone. And then I had to use my wife's phone earlier. And then I was trying to call you on Zoom and now my head is melted. And I think my eyesight's getting bad too. So I started getting a headache then trying to read the phone. But yeah, I started to identify with the dog.
Maybe it was your wife whacking you on the forehead with it.
Maybe she needs to. But somebody asked me the other day, they have a dog that's a bit too wide, and years ago I thought, well, one that's too wide, it's not worth bothering with. But I've had a couple that have been too wide now, and I've done some things there, and I found that some of them have changed, and I've only kind of discovered that in the last couple of years. But have you anything to help, say that, like that person that's asking me, have you anything that you use for dogs that are too wide to help get them in? Or what do you think?
Well, I mean, I think a dog that's too wide, if they've been doing it too long, or if they're a dog that's maybe a little afraid of sheep, then it's maybe difficult and wondering if it's worth it.
Yes.
And if they're doing it a long time, that obviously that habit is more ingrained all the time. But a fairly young dog, you know, that's not doing it for years. I mean, the earlier the better. I'll whistle them on, you know, give them a pull in and allow them to be fairly tight for a while. But
yes.
But the thing is, to me at least, if they're too wide, you can't worry about them reading their shape real well either. You've got to let them enjoy being tight, because if you let them be tight and then you think, oh my God, that's too tight, then blow them out. I mean, you might as well just left them wide.
Yeah.
But I'll let them be a little bit tight, and then because they're tight, I'll let them lash them in a little bit too, just so they're not taking it personal. So if I say, well, okay, now you're tight, now you're bringing them too fast, quit doing that, they're just going to go back to going wide again, because it's all defensive, isn't it?
Yes. You have to forgive that a little bit. If you want them tight, you've got to take what comes with tight and not be getting on to them for that too.
Exactly.
The thing I was afraid of now with this one, and obviously what I'd be kind of suspecting in my own head, is that it's probably a bit scared of sheep. And if it's a bit scared of sheep, then you're just trying to let it in and let it feel good and hope that it builds up a little bit. Are you kind of stuck with that?
If they're scared of sheep, I mean, then it comes to a point, do you really like the dog? Or like, can you live with a dog that's scared of sheep? If you don't want one that's scared of sheep, if you think that's a forever thing, I mean, if you get the width fixed, something else will show up too. Mm-hmm. So whether or not, you know, do you like that dog, and are you content with, you know, I mean, there's some awfully good dangerous handlers that just accept what their weaknesses are of the dog, whether it be too darn pushy or maybe not pushy enough. And I mean, acceptance is a lot. I think at least get that dog so it's happy about what it can do well, instead of always trying to change it. Then that dog can never be happy about even what they know how to do well.
Yes. I was talking to a fella yesterday, and we were saying, I think it does. I was talking to a fella yesterday, and I was saying, you know, we're talking about faults in dogs, and I was saying, well, look, I like the dog there. Nobody else likes him, but I said I like him. And I like him because he has 4 out of the 5 right. And I mean, that's probably as good as they ever get, isn't it? It's like 4 out of the 5 things that are important to me, or the things that are important to you. Once they have most of the big ones right, you can kind of work with the rest, can't you?
Well, exactly. I mean, if I was to sell every dog I deemed as having a flaw, well, I wouldn't be here talking to you about dogs. We might be talking about something, but I wouldn't have any dogs.
When you are working on a dog and you say, I'm starting to like this one's going to stay with me, what are the 4 out of 5 things that you like to see, or that you need to have in a dog for you to fit with him?
Well, I want one that's not afraid of sheep. I mean, it doesn't have to be an absolute bulldozer, because, I mean, I really don't require a bulldozer anymore. I want it to follow sheep well, just because in a double lift on a hot day, you do not want a dog trying to get to the head then, because it's just, you get, say, the Bluegrass, if they don't push sheep from the rear well, you'll just spend too much time keep getting things going again. So I want them to follow well. I want them to head reasonably well, but they don't have to be like my Alice dog she's all right on the head, but certainly I've had dogs an awful lot better on the head. But also I like a dog that's smart and honest. I don't mind a little bit of a devil that'll try something. In fact, I want that. I don't want a dog afraid to make a mistake naturally, or because I've taught it to be afraid to make a mistake. But I want them, but I don't want a dishonest dog either. Like if I turn my back, if they're off trying to attack sheep, I mean, if they've got any training on it at all, that's just I've got no interest.
Yeah. So when you say an honest dog, another dog that you can depend on and you lean on him, and when you know if things start going, you know he's giving you his best. At least he's not taking out shortcuts and being lazy or sneaky about it or anything. Is that what you mean by honest?
Well, honest and honest in that way for sure, but honest also if there's something a little bit cheeky, like if there's a ewe out there with a lamb that's not coming in, I don't want that dog figuring this is too much work and just coming home without it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's the one thing I really do not like is a dog that doesn't mind, either causing the trouble and then can't back it up or won't back it up. Like we'll chase until they want to start chasing me, and then I'm out of there. That
Yeah.
I've got no use for it.
I didn't see that one, Scott.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, as we all know, I mean, there's some dogs that will avoid it a little bit, but there's ones that will learn to be braver. They're avoiding it because they are worried. They can't help if they're worried, but if they're honest enough to give it a go because you've asked them to, that's they can't help but give it.
And then when you say about a dog that's smart, I always think, the thing I love seeing a dog is, the fella that has, I call it the GPS, where you bring him out to stake and he's clocked where the sheep are, and even though there could be some tricky ground to get there, he just knows and he's going to land in there. I always get a bit excited when I see that. But when you say like a smart dog or an intelligent dog, what are the little indicators that you get when you're training them?
Well, when you're training them, I think the ones that, they just start to, and obviously a smart dog is a smart, I say I want a smart dog, but you've got to allow a dog to be a little bit smart too. So if you see a dog be just a little bit disobedient in this one thing and you realize, by God, they saved my butt there. Or they showed a real good move there instead of, dang it, they took that wrong flank, which is not what I want. But if they're always scared to use their head, if we don't allow them to use their head, how are they going to get better at it? But one that just can read the sheep better than me, because if they're out 600 yards, they better be able to do their job better than me, because I can't see that good out there.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
An outrun, an outrun. You get dogs that like you said, anything new. Well, the dogs that when you go to a strange place, they surprise you to the good instead of always to the bad.
Yes.
New field, come off. Oh, I was doing it good at home. Or new field, I got that dog. That dog looked better at home, better now than it did at home. I had a dog named Dan, one of my earlier successful dogs. Dan was pretty boring at home, and yet you bring him home, you bring him out. First time I brought him out to a trial, he just livened up, and then he livened up at home too. So I think I was maybe, I think I was just boring him.
Mm-hmm. And do you think the impression I'm getting from you there is that sometimes, you're training the dog and you're looking for obedience now, but at the same time, you're giving him an opportunity to develop his own initiative, or you're going to hang back a little bit to see what he'll do in places and all. Is that, when you're training, is that what you kind of mean, that let them have their head a little bit in places and see what they've got?
Well, for me at least, I've got to let that dog show me kind of what its strengths are and weaknesses, or I don't even know what to do. Other than then, I know if it listens or not. That's about all I know.
Mm-hmm. Well, what would you say to people who are kind of, maybe they're coming from agility or something like that, and they're thinking, "Oh, this thing is easy. I see the course. You get the panels there and the panels here, and all it is obedience and tell the dog where to go." There's a bit more to it than that, isn't there?
Oh yeah, well, if you don't, I don't know if you have to tell them anything. Just let them run at the trial. They'll find out quick enough.
Yeah. The reality will sink in.
There's nothing like just personal experience to find out yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've all been there. I mean, well, I shouldn't say we've all been. Maybe. I mean, you guys have had so many good handlers for so long, but I know. I mean, I was thinking I was getting pretty cock of the walk up here. I mean, I was. First there was one fella beating me and I'd catch up with him, and then there was another fella beating me and I'd catch up with him, and I didn't have it all my own way, because there's a lot of good stockmen and dog handlers up here, but I was winning my fair share, and good grief, I come up, and then Alistair McCree come up with his dogs the one time, and holy jeez, I was thinking, my God, I thought I was at the top of the heap, but I still have a ways to go yet.
Yeah, it's an awful bloody
He just
deep
absolutely
well.
annihilated us.
Yeah,
You
but
know.
that's the exciting thing, isn't it? Though I remember when I went over to Ben Macno for some help and that, and then and maybe I think I have the dog going fairly well, and then I go over to him and I realize, oh, I'm doing rubbish here. But I always like that about the dogs, that there's so much more I can squeeze out, and so much more to fine tune and things like that.
Yes, yeah. That's a nice. That's probably one of the things that I don't have. I don't have. I mean, I can talk on the phone to a person here and there, and I get together with the odd person here and there, but I'm quite away from every place, and I'm busy training dogs, so you don't have quite that stab of enthusiasm by just visiting with somebody or going to a trial this time of year, get your butt kicked, or you either come home thinking I've got to do things better to stay on top, or I've got to get things better to get on top. One or the other.